back out at John's. He's got the transmission done.
There it is.
There it is. Beauty. Here's all the crappy parts that we thrown out. And then we're working
And those those were thrown out too.
Yep, thrown out too. So now we're back in good shape. And we'll have the transmission in the car by next weekend.
And I'm going to be in Florida.
Yeah, sounds good.
Put them in your holder.
And you're doing it on a curve.
Well, that's what they did.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Got a lot of notes to yourself.
I'm worried about your hand.
Now, it's not going to show up real well. As a trick, I put grease in it. You can read it better with the grease.
There you go.
Look at that.
Beauty.
You want me to take the grease off?
Happy birthday, Mark.
There you go. Okay. Have different helical angles. On a comparing a third gear to a third gear, you can see that the angle here is really tilted a lot, and these are much more straighter, and they're straighter across. So this clearly makes this a rock crusher gear. So we know it's a real rock crusher, and we're going to go back to my house rule and see what the teeth look like, the engagement teeth. So in fourth gear, they're a little the roofs have taken a little bit of damage. Maybe a hurricane hit them, but they're still long. They're long gears, so that means that they've been abused a little bit, but they're probably going to be okay. Third gear here is a little thin. The walls are marginal. I'll have to decide when I get the gear out. Second gear, the walls are definitely longer than the floor, but they're beat a little bit. We're gonna have to see. And first gear, as always, first gear is nice tall walls. It's second and third that look a little beat up. So that's where we are on this. Did he have any issues with it?
I bought it at a swap meet.
So okay, so he has not driven it.
No.
Okay, well it rolls, it turns nice. It's got a nice shift to it. See, this is what I was telling you before with yours, that sometimes you have to, if you're doing them by hand, you just aren't strong enough, and you got to tap them in the gear.
Mm-hmm.
That's first. And second. Okay. All right. And his name is
Mike Ely.
Mike?
Mike Ely, the fence man.
I'll be calling you, fence man.
So we just got back from John Peretz, and we picked up the 66 Chevelle transmission, and we spent all weekend getting the engine bay ready, so that's all painted up and looking ready for a new beautiful engine. And the last thing I'm gonna do is mock this transmission up onto the engine, just to make sure that we don't have any issues when we put everything in together. So I'll give you a few little tips here. So before we put the transmission into the engine, of course we've got the pilot bearing and everything all lined up, the clutch and everything lined up with the tool. And then we've got some grease. We're going to put some grease around here, so just a little grease all the way around this shaft too. You don't want to get too crazy with the grease, because that'll get on your clutch, and that could be a bad thing. You're going to have a lot of slippage. And then a little bit of grease on the pilot out here. So should be pretty good. Now, I'm going to struggle to get this in there, so I'm not going to videotape me struggling, but next shot we'll have the transmission on here. Okay. Oh, and don't forget to fill your transmission up with oil. Got some STP 80-90 weight gear oil. No synthetics or anything. I'm not going to get all fancy dancy. This isn't a modern transmission. So, and I've heard that some of these synthetic gear oils can actually affect the bronze that is in these transmissions. So we'll just get some regular STP 80-90 weight gear oil and fill that sucker up. But we'll wait till we get transmission and engine all married up, as you can see there. It was a little heavy and a little hard to do by yourself, but you can do it since it's sitting on the bench. And of course we got the boot ready to go on there. Transmission is sitting in neutral with these straight up right now. And next thing we'll start doing is mounting the gear shift on this thing, the Hurst gear shifter. So things are coming along nicely. I did manage to get the carburetor mounted up here, and just to make sure that mounts okay. And we put a new accelerator pump on here, and then of course got all the accessories bolted up here. I only saw one little issue that I'm gonna have to tighten up here, and see a little slop there, so I still need to get that tightened up. But the engine is looking good. The engine compartment is looking pretty snazzy, and it's ready for a motor, don't you think?